The Fremantle superstar has always intrigued me. He's a nonconformist, a free thinker, and his best football is as good as we've ever seen. I want to know how Nat Fyfe balances that ambition with being an AFL captain.
Well, arguably this whole TV series is a bit of an ego trip for me, but having breakfast made by a Brownlow medalist would be kind of new ground. What's on the menu?
Can I start you with a cup of tea?
Yes.
And then we might just go some toast.
Beautiful. How was the morning swim? I slept in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
This morning was the worst morning in 3 years, I reckon. So it was a good opportunity to grab some footage of it. It was pretty airy. But usually that's the way to start the day. It sort of started a couple of years ago, actually, as a 3-week trial, because I wasn't a morning person. I'd roll into work, footy at 8 o'clock in the morning, bed, hair, grumpy, not acknowledge anyone for an hour or so until I found my rhythm. And the feedback came that I just needed it.
Who gave you the feedback?
Lots of people over a long period of time. But mainly, I mean, Brett Kirk was the one that sort of started making me a bit aware of it.
Yeah.
That you have to neutralise your energy constantly if you want to be a leader around this joint. So the challenge was 3 weeks of 6 a.m. beach sessions.
So neutralise your energy, so be not as...
He's walking in, he's grumpy this morning. Because it's a tough place to walk into some mornings if you don't want to, particularly as an introvert, to have to walk into the robustness of footy club where people are just ready to chirp you or come at you or pat you on the back or ask you to do something. If you're not ready for that, it can be hard work, as you know.
So would you classify yourself as an introvert?
Very much so.
Very much so.
But I can be an augmented extrovert.
What's that mean?
Well, when you go
don't use too many big words for me.
When you go into an environment where you have to put on a persona of enjoying the spotlight or the other people around you, but very much like my mum and dad, introverted.
Peter Roebuck said something, and it's come up before in one of these chats, is the cape of bravado for batsmen. They've got to wear that cape of bravado to exert sort of total self-belief.
Yeah, definitely.
The kid that arrived at the club as a draftee, I imagine he's quite different to the man about to tuck into some honey toast.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was 10 years ago now, so...
That goes quick.
Footy was very much a fun thing that you did on the weekend.
Yeah.
And that was it. So to be able to view football as a full-time career was totally foreign, and I was pretty keen to come in, make a bit of money, get a few extra followers on Facebook, enjoy having a kick. And that was as far as it went.
So you weren't a fanatic?
Definitely not. No, I wrestled long and hard early days with the you've got to be a professional athlete thing. It didn't make sense to me.
Was it the demands of it, or was it the critiquing and the just professional life?
Well, the video was the first thing. I had no idea what sort of a footy player I was until they started showing me these different angles, and I'm going, that's not what I'm doing, is it? And they go, yeah, that's you there. And so that was like, okay. And then you go to that deeper conversation of what are we doing playing footy? Why? How is this helping us evolve in any way? We're not saving lives.
They're pretty big.
We're not. And
existential thoughts.
These are the thoughts that have somewhat crippled me my whole life.
Yeah.
Because we're playing footy and I'm getting paid a lot of money to do it and I'm devoting my whole life to it. But
what's the greater meaning?
What is that? And so that led me down the garden path a number of times.
Have you come to any peace with that?
Very much so. I mean, I've publicly spoken about Brett Kirk along the way. But he was more just like a big human mirror and just get me to look back at myself and go, OK, what are you doing here? How's that affecting people?
Yeah.
How's that affecting you?
Yeah. I know Kirky a little bit. We played on each other quite a bit, played together in international rules. I was kind of drawn to him. It comes as no shock to me that you two found each other.
Both weirdos?
Well, in the football sphere, yeah. It doesn't take much in football. You would know as well as anyone. It doesn't take much, for example, for a young player to be branded as he's a bit out there, because there's a lot of short back and sides.
I got sledged on the field the other day.
This is good. I like this.
A player's gone, mate, stop being such an individual. And I
What a criticism.
I wasn't sure when I caught
come
him, but I sort of puffed up and said, "What'd you say?" He said, "Stop being such an individual." And I chuckled to myself and I said, "That is one of the great compliments you could ever give me."
Wow. So is part of your routine to get up, go to the beach, is that something that gives you balance?
Yeah, definitely. Constantly examining yourself and where you're at mentally, and using all the tools that you can through meditation, through routine, ritual. So the beach, for example, you can look at it from lots of different angles. Some people who start the day with a cold shower or the beach, as I do, say that you achieve something. The first thing that you do in the day is an achievement, so the rest of the day comes easier. And so there's elements of that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's what I do. It's so ritualised in what I do that without it, I can lose a little bit of guidance in my day.
Yeah.
What's the first thing I do if I don't do that? But the
Bit of
meditation
room
stuff
for
you can
real.
take wherever you are, and you can do the more active side of it where you can catch yourself at any moment in a meeting as your mind's starting to drift, in a game.
Don't meditate in one of Ross's meetings.
Yeah, well,
Please don't do that. Has anyone ever fallen asleep in his meeting? You don't have to name names.
we had one guy who was on a program to keep him more alert during meetings because he dozed. So
He was on a program.
which included pressure point and chewing spearmint gum. And there was one other thing I can't remember. This is real life.
This sounds...
We had to go and see our site and
This sounds
develop a little
made
bit of a program. We had a guy a couple of weeks ago who has come from another club, so you can probably work out who that is, and he was doing his shoelaces up midway through a speech from Ross pre-game. He won't be doing his shoelaces up
They
again
won't be
during
doing
the
that
speech.
again.
Well, sometimes I'll read stuff or see stuff that's said about a performance that I've done, and I'll go, I don't know if I can live up to that. They'll say heroic, Herculean effort, dragged over the line, injured, great leadership, and I'll read it and I'll go, I think that's a bit inflated. I don't think I can live up to that.
Yeah.
And it's at those moments where you've had no impact, you're not feeling it, the weight of the world is on you, you go, okay, now might be an opportunity to try and live up to that expectation.
Yeah.
And there's something exciting about that for me, to go, okay, to be able to do something great or memorable, you have to have the opportunity to do it. If it was all just smooth sailing and you dominated every week, then you wouldn't have that opportunity to really fight and earn every scrap of respect.
Yeah.
And so it's in
That's
those...
the drive. That's the stuff.
Yeah.
Will you get tense? So you get to the ground. Are you someone that will be a bit anxious? I used to be pretty anxious.
No, I'm pretty balanced. I listen to usually talkback radio or silence.
Talkback. Oh my gosh. Now I didn't have you pegged as out there. Now you're officially out there. Talkback.
Can we scrap that?
No, that's...
I don't know. You
I'd
know
be
what?
way too...
Well, when I was young and we'd go to footy with Dad in the car, we'd have ABC radio on.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like it takes me to that space
Right.
in the car.
That's interesting.
And I listen to it on the bus ride to the MCG, for example, when we're travelling, and I can...
That's interesting.
Get the app on
Do you
my
think
phone.
that is a nostalgia? It is that...
Yeah, I
takes
do.
you to
Well,
that?
I saw someone write it. It might have been Dane Beams wrote during the week about how the whole footy experience, he connected with his dad.
Yeah.
And that resonated with me because
I think it resonated with a lot of us.
Putting the talk back on and travelling to footy is a time that I spent with my dad.
Yeah.
And so that's where I want to be in that space. I don't really want to go into the heavy music pump up.
Yeah.
I'd rather just spend some time with Dad before we get to the game.
That's a beautiful thought. That's actually really lovely. I was trying to describe the football club environment, which I became more aware of as captain, that as a business model, and a footy club a footy team rather, is a bad business model. It's really, really bad. So we're in the business of winning games, winning premierships, but we're in the business of camaraderie. That's what the day-to-day, a lot of it is. You're trying to bring people together, have them believe in the cause, everyone do their bit for the greater good, all that. But the structure of it is 44 players roughly, 22 in the team. So on any given week, half of the staff are not where they want to be. And at the end of every year, the company could have its best ever year. There's redundancies at the end of every year, and you're trying to build camaraderie. Imagine if you were making plastic buckets and that was your business model.
If we took that to Shark Tank, we would get shot out of the sky.
Yeah, no offers for that.
I think about this all the time. Unless you don't finish in the finals, which isn't a good result, or you win the grand final, your last game of the year, every year, will be a loss.
Yeah.
As good a year as you've had as a group or as an individual, you always finish unfulfilled.
Yeah.
And that was probably, from a selfish point of view, one of the nice things about winning an award like the Brownlow is that for a fleeting moment, as an individual, you couldn't physically do any more.
Yeah.
You couldn't have played, you didn't need to play better or longer or more games, or there wasn't another performance coming up. For a fleeting moment, you got to be able to enjoy that bliss of, I'm enough.
Yeah.
But that lasts not long at all, and the next season starts and everyone goes back to the level playing field and you start all over again.
Yeah.
You finish on top. For that period of time, you can feel like you've accomplished something. And it's a rare and beautiful thing in this game.
Do you remember the Brownlow? You had a lot going on that night.
It was a busy week.
You had a lot going on that night. But I was at the after party. I didn't have much going on, but I was having a wow of a time. I think I may have celebrated your win harder than you did.
Great.
But I remember you were sort of shuffled into the nightclub after, the after party, and they brought you in where I was standing. You probably don't remember this, but I came over and we had this hug. I gave you a big hug, and I thought, I'm having a Brownlow moment. And as my wife, she goes, "Have you got money for a drink?" And I got dragged away, and we woke up the next day, and I said, "You know, you ruined my Nat Fyfe Brownlow moment." She was very apologetic.
That's great. I have brief recollections of parts of that night.
Yeah.
I can't exactly remember that one.
You just broke my heart, by the way.
Sorry, mate.
On telly, Ralph Wiggum style.
I'm glad you enjoyed the night other than that, though.
No, it was great.